So you remember the other week when the Nintendo Switch emulator Yuzu, they were being sued, and then like a few days later they settled. They're paying Nintendo $2.4 million. All websites turned over to Nintendo. Nintendo's already taken over the Yuzu website. Various other things that were going on. Discord shut down. But yeah, $2.4 million. Everything shut down. Then the day after all that, it was also Citra as well, gone. Yuzu and Citra. The day after, maybe even the same day, we start seeing a handful. I wouldn't say buttloads, but a handful of replacements pop up. Forks of Yuzu, stuff like that. People promising that they're going to continue the legacy on. There was a few of them I saw. Same thing with Citra, like lemon, lemonade, limeade. I don't know. There's a few of them. But the one that was getting some traction here with the Switch emulator was Suyu. Instead of Yuzu, it's Suyu. Fully open source Switch emulator. Suyu is a familiar C++ based Switch emulator with a focus on compatibility. Completely free and open source forever. Forever. Cool. So I had the main page, like they had this hosted on GitLab. I had that page opened up for days now. And I kept meaning to go back to it just to take a look at what was going on. Because from what I understand, they made some changes to Yuzu, the branding and a few other little things. And then they were getting ready to go live with it, I guess, or put out a beta or something. And it was just yesterday, I believe, there was a drop. Like you could compile the source and have the emulator. And then today, I'm over here, like I already have the GitLab open, but if you click download on the suyu.dev webpage, the GitLab for Suyu releases 404, page not found. It just doesn't exist. So, my brain starts, cranking a little bit. What's going on? I start Googling, looking around. Didn't really find too much, but then I did find this overkill.wtf website, which just posted this shortly ago. Nintendo Switch Suyu emulator offline following DMCA takedown. So I also went to the Discord for Suyu and saw that there's a lot of talks, a lot of people like getting, annoyed, boycott Nintendo type of thing. I don't know if that kind of stuff works, but it seems obvious that if there was a DMCA takedown, it had to have come from Nintendo, but you never know sometimes. But yeah, there's a lot of a lot of discussions going on in here. People pissed off. People, like I said, let's boycott Nintendo type of thing. But yeah, so it's gone for the time being. No longer out there. Is somebody else gonna come with the Suyu revival? I don't freaking know. But they say just the Overkill website, they say just days after the first beta going live, the Suyu emulator project is currently offline. This new tool, which is based on source code of the former Yuzu emulator, has now been removed from GitLab, which is where it was hosted. I almost think for anybody to continue on with stuff like this, you can't go to these, GitHub, GitLab, places like that. You got to go to some shady ass places and have your stuff put up, or host it yourself in some foreign country or from the moon somewhere. I don't know, just where the reaches of these kind of things can't happen. Otherwise, I mean, Nintendo's just going to keep going after this kind of stuff in places that they know they can't. If you're hosting this on one of these places and Nintendo just has easy access to file a complaint, it's gone. If you're making money through Patreon or you're selling emulators for the Switch or hosting, Switch product keys or ROMs, whatever, Nintendo may go after you and sue your ass. So it's kind of like, I don't know, for people to jump into this right after, I thought, man, hopefully nothing crazy happens and this just kind of flies under the radar. They're doing things differently than Yuzu was. But yeah, these DMCA takedowns, it just seems bound to happen with this kind of stuff. So they state, why is the reason for this sudden removal? Suyu is a fork of Yuzu, and following recent legal action from Nintendo, Yuzu was quickly shut down. The domain and source code handed over to Nintendo. Due to Suyu being a fork of this now notorious tool, seems the new project has attracted its fair share of attention and legal woes too. So they have this, I guess, this email or message. We've determined that you forked a public repo against which we previously received a DMCA notice. If you would like to regain access, you're required to delete the following project from your account. Suyu, once you agree to these terms, you have 24 hours to remove the content. We've included the details of the DMCA takedown below. Copyright work that you claim is being infringed. Suyu is based off of Yuzu, which violates Section 1201 of DMCA. Suyu, like Yuzu, is primarily designed to circumvent Nintendo's technical protection measures. Namely, Suyu unlawfully uses unauthorized copies of cryptographic keys to decrypt unauthorized copies of Nintendo Switch games or ROMs, so on and so forth. It's all the same stuff about Yuzu because it is Yuzu, essentially. And it was crazy, like when Yuzu, when all that stuff was going down with there really wasn't, I mean, a lot that went down. It was like the lawsuit was filed or the court documents were filed. And then there's like one motion to just like forego service. And then after that, like the weekend came and then it was, okay, it's over. We settled $2.4 million. But when that happened, there's a lot of emulators that started getting freaked out, pulling their stuff, like Nintendo-based emulators of old stuff, pulling their emulators offline off of the Google Play Store, stuff like that. The fear was invoked into people. Some, like I know Drastic was like, we're just going open source. We've been planning this for a while. We just figured now, screw it. You know, this just kind of pushed us to just say, screw it, let's do it now instead of later type of thing was already in the plans. But yeah, you know, it's the snowball effect, it seemed. They state also, in addition to the project page being removed, all of the accounts of those who've contributed to Suyu project have also been locked. They reached out to GitLab for comment. They most likely aren't going to get a comment on this, but does this shock anybody? I mean, I've spoken my mind on Switch emulation. I don't care. I just don't care. If you're like, hey, I emulate Switch games, or I download Switch games, or I back up Switch, I don't care. I just don't care. I know what I personally do. I buy the games I want, and I play them, and then once the system's out of its life cycle and they're no longer, you know, out there, then yeah, let me hack that bitch. Let me download some games. You know, 3DS action, Wii U action. It's like those are, it's just open season on that stuff. Like, who's to blame you, you know? But for me right now, it's like Switch, I'm not really touching that stuff till later on. But if you do, I don't care. Doesn't bother me none. Nintendo's doing just damn fine, right? Freaking most profitable companies in Japan, they're doing okay. They didn't need that $2.4 million. They're doing all right. That kind of stuff is just put out there to fearmonger and scare others from, you know, stepping on Nintendo's toes, right? You know, however you want to think about it. But there you go. Little rant and ramble for the day. Really do appreciate you guys. For little Joey J out there, appreciate you, man. Give you a big-ass blurry thumb butt like a Bigfoot. It ain't that blurry, but there you go. Bye.